Hi guys, welcome to my channel RSK Training, and I'm Ranjit, your Excel trainer. So before we begin, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so right now. And once you click on subscribe, you will see the bell icon as shown on the screen. And please click on the bell icon so that you can have updates from me, or you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. So in the interest of time, let's move on to this session. I'm sure you might have gone through my previous sessions which I had uploaded. Excel Facts session 1 and session 2. This will be session number 3, and in fact indeed you have not, if you have not gone through those sessions, the links are below, so you can go through them. Okay, now moving on to the formulas as described in my, or as specified in my last session. There are about 450 plus formulas in Excel, and it's virtually impossible to cover all of them. So I have listed out top 10 most useful and commonly used Excel formulas. Let's move on to them. Okay, the first set of formulas which is commonly used: sum, count and average. I've grouped them together, so that's not counted as one. I will list some numbers. Say 1 to 10. You can see here sum is 55, count is 10 and average is 5.5. I can simply write 55, 10, 5.5. But that doesn't solve my purpose. I have to show the formulas. So I will just delete them. Is equal to sum of is equal to count of this to this is equal to average of this to this, and it gives me the same results. Sum, as you know, average as you know is sum of sum divided by count. So alternatively, if I click sum divided by count, it should give me the same result, and it does. Okay, the question which would come in everyone's mind is, when Excel does it for me, so why should I use formulas? So Excel does it for you only when it is selected. When I don't select the column, Excel doesn't do anything. So that's why the formula is. Now the second most important formula according to me is if. Okay, say this is a range, this is a number. So suppose you are given 5, and wherever here we have 5, this column should be writing good, otherwise it should write bad. It's equal to if this is equal to this, then give me good, else give me bad. Now before I hit enter, let us see the syntax of if. What if does is checks whether the condition is met, returns true, else returns false. So the syntax here is if logical test, value if true, value if false. So I've given this, value if true is then good, otherwise bad. Now if I drag this till the bottom, it gives me bad everywhere. Now on the number 5 it should ideally give me good, but it is not. Let us find out why. So here you see the logical testing is even is equal to C5. If even is equal to C5. Testing here is if F2 E2 is equal to C6, E2 is equal to C6, which is a blank. So it should ideally check here. So what I can do is I can manually put here C5. Here it is comparing E3 is equal to C7. I can do that too here, but in that case I have to do for all these things and then I will get the result. Instead of what I will do is I will, yes, you are right, I will freeze this. I will put a dollar sign in front of C and dollar sign in front of 5, so it gets freezed, and I will drag it till the bottom, and now against 5 I get a good number. So that's good. Okay, I hope you understood that. If not, you can put your put it in the comment section and I would be happy to explain you again. Like we have done this way, we can do the other way as well. Okay, the next group which I think is most useful is a combination of the first three functions, sum, count and average, with if. Oh, as I mentioned, these functions are a combinations of the first group with the second formula, and the good thing is that these functions are arranged in the same way, so the syntax is almost the same. So what is the syntax? Let's see, is equal to function, it's equal to function of range, criteria and function range. So almost all of them use this. There would be a difference with COUNTIF because it does not use both of them. So like I said, SUMIF, range F1 to F10, criteria say for good, and then sum this range 5. Similarly, as I told you, it's the same. Okay, here I have to delete this because COUNTIF accepts 2 arguments only, range and criteria, no function range. So the range, suppose this, and the criteria is good. So COUNTIF will give you how many goods are there? Just 1. Similarly, average, if the range, the criteria and the average range. In this case there is just one number, so the average will be the same 5. Now however, if we have good over here as well, see, everything changes. So now the number, the sum changes, the count changes, and the average also changes. Okay, with that we come to the fourth most important function which is used in Excel, and that's VLOOKUP. This is a very powerful and useful function in Excel, but the dilemma is that it's least understood. I will tell you why it's least understood. Now, most of us use VLOOKUP without even knowing the basic criteria of VLOOKUP. What's the limitation of it? We use it day in and day out, but we always use it from left to right, but this is one of the limitation of Excel, limitation of VLOOKUP, that it can be used only from left to right. There is an alternative way, but that's too complex, and I have a whole session dedicated to VLOOKUP only, so you can understand the power of VLOOKUP, that it cannot be covered in a normal session. It requires a dedicated session altogether. Okay, like I mentioned, that it can operate to search something from the leftmost column. So like in this range, if we use, it will search from this column and go forward. So let's see what's the syntax of VLOOKUP. Let's see, okay, here is equal to VLOOKUP. Like you can see, it looks the value of the leftmost column of a table and then returns a value in the same row or column you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in ascending order. That would not be required right now. I'll tell you why. So we just say VLOOKUP, and the syntax will be lookup value, table array, column index number, and range lookup. Lookup value. When we say lookup value, we have to find out something. So we again write here 5 and say lookup value is this 5. Find 5 in this table. Table array is this. So which number do you want to find out? Second column. So we'll specify 2. And you see this range lookup, it's in square brackets. That means it is optional. But the thing is, if we don't specify it, it would take an exact approximate match, and so we generally specify as a 0, which means the exact match. We can specify false as well, but in the previous versions of Excel, we had 0 and 1 and not true and false. So it's usually a habit for everyone to have 0 here. So we'll put 0 and close the bracket and press enter. Now 5 has a good in front of it. Now say we put 7 and the value changes to bad. Okay. Now this tells me, or this gives us an idea that VLOOKUP is more of a database function. It, or you can say, it can be used only in lists or a table. Now, a little while ago, I mentioned that I will have a full session dedicated to VLOOKUP. You know, VLOOKUP is a very simple thing. So why the whole session? Because there are various ways of using VLOOKUP. So as I mentioned that it is a very powerful tool, and VLOOKUP also can be used with other functions in Excel, like match function. VLOOKUP match is very powerful. I'll show you how to use them, but in my next session, not in this one. Okay, the fifth most useful or most commonly used formula is concatenate. So say I have my name here, Ranjit Kumar, and I can use concatenate Ranjit, comma, space, and Kumar. So I will get this in one column. Alternatively, I can use the and symbol as well. And it gives me the same results. No, it's not limited to just two. You can use as many as you want. Now the sixth commonly used function according to me is max and min. Max is the maximum of all the numbers. Min is the minimum of all numbers. So I will use max and say I give a range of this E1 to E10. Similarly, I can use min of E1 to E10, and it gives me 1. So this is about maximum and minimum. Let's move on to the seventh most important and useful formula, which is AND. So what does AND do? As the name specifies, you can use two or more different things. So it's basically used to check if both the things are true. I'll write another one, say OR. So okay, and E1 is equal to 1 and E2 is equal to. Good. It's not there. 1 and good. Or if I specify 1 and bad, it's again not there because I specified E2. It's true. I specify good and it will again come back to false. If I do the same thing here, is equal to OR, E1 is equal to 1 and F1 is equal to good. Though it is not there, but still it's true, because AND make sure that both the functions are true, and then returns a true, also returns a false, or sees even if one is true, then it will return true, else it will return false. Okay, now we study some text functions. Say proper. What does proper do? Now let's say this Ranjit here is written in this way, or say it is written like this: R-A capital N-J-I small t. Does it look good? No, both of them don't. So Excel as a function, the first one looks good, so Excel as a function to do this in proper sense. So I will simply write proper of, say this. It gives me properly. See, I can just specify proper of this and I get this. Similarly, we have upper and lower. So we say upper of Ranjit, and it gives all capital letters. And if I specify lower of, it gives me all lower characters. So as the name suggests, the ninth most commonly used formula is left and right. Now, to understand these functions, left and right, let's say I use this one. Now if I want to find out the left or the first name, I will simply write left of this and comma, what are the number of characters? 3, 4, 5, 6. So I write 6 and get it this. But what if I don't want to write 6? So I'll find out some way of finding 6 out. For this we come to another function which I did not specify, but I have to use it right now, which is find. Find what? So there is a space in between these, so I'll find out a space in between this, and the result is 7. Here I have to use 6, so I can use this -1, or if I even specify 7, it could give me Ranjit. However, there is a space after this, so I will use find space in K2, and that will give me the result. Now similarly, if I want to find out the last name, I will give right of this comma, how many? 5. And then you might think that if I don't want to specify 5, I can use find again, but no, we cannot. The reason being, when we use find, it starts from the left and goes to the right. So if we use instead of 5 we use find space k2. This will give me, sorry, I used fin instead of find. It will give me t space comma because it goes from the left towards the right. Okay, so what is the way to do this? I'll tell you. Let's keep it this way, and I will come to that in a bit. Now let us move on to the 10th most commonly used formula, which is length or trim. L trim, R trim. So trim, as the name suggests, is a removal of spaces. So if I have, say, Ranjit space and say space Ranjit, so what trim would do is equal to trim of this, will remove all the spaces, and similarly if I do a trim of this, it will again remove the spaces. Now left trim will remove the spaces from the left, and right trim that from the right. I need not explain this. Length function again will return the length of this number. Good. Okay, now coming back to the 9th formula, right. I told you here instead of 5, I will come back to it after I explain the 10th one. So right now I come back to this. I will, here we have found out Ranjit. Now this is 7, so I will just put -1, that will give me the same thing. So what I will do is equal to length of this name is 12 is equal to length of this is 6. Let me remove this one right now for now. So it's 7 now. Now 12 minus 7 is 5. So I can just specify this minus this, and I get the same 5. L15, this is 12, so that is the length of K2. So instead of specifying 12, let me specify here length of K2, and instead of L14, let me specify length of K14. And I get 5 over here. So the reason I wrote this is just to explain you. Okay guys, with this we come to the end of today's session, in which I explained you the formulas which are most commonly used and most useful. As promised, my next session would be dedicated to VLOOKUP, and therein I would explain you the various uses of VLOOKUP, and we will prove the powers of VLOOKUP. And if I do get time in the new session, in the next session, I would cover some of the most useful formulas like HLOOKUP and yeah, HLOOKUP. I don't think a pivot table can be covered in that session, so there will be another session for that. Okay guys, with that we come to the end of this session, and I would like to repeat again, please subscribe to my channel if you have not done until now, and of course if you liked my channel, please click on the link below, please click on the like button below. Right, thank you guys, and stay blessed. Thank you.